What's up, everybody? It's the Hobby with Cage, episode 40. Pretty nuts. 3 a day, couple months. There you go. You get to 40 episodes. A little hobby news week. We're still giving you content here more often than we're not. 4 days a week. I'm pretty sure 4 out of 7 is more than half. I was never good at math. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about here. There was a card show by me this weekend, and it was bad weather, and I still didn't go. Does that mean anything? Should I read into that? Is there a little fatigue? Is it just saving up all my card show energy until national? And we're just gonna let it all loose there. Talk about the national. Maybe talk about that a little bit. I did have a topic for today. It's something I was thinking about, and while I've heard people opine, I've never heard kind of the both sides of it. I think I'm falling into sort of a routine here, right? That's kind of what I'm going to try to give, sort of both sides of the equation, the good, the bad, and the hobby, for our fun title for episode 40. And I guess here, let's just throw it out there. What do you guys think about new business entrants to the hobby? Good, bad, indifferent? Do they suck the money out of the hobby? Do they just come in and piss off collectors? Do they start off with good intentions? Do they start off with bad intentions? Do they, even if they have good intentions, do they kind of, spin? And what can we do as, members of this hobby? What can we do as collectors, investors, whatever it is, to kind of learn from what has gone on before? Well, it's difficult because a hobby company that came into this in 2018, 19, or even, early 20 is very different than a hobby company that's coming in now, and I'm sure they would even admit that, right? And maybe they're in a better spot, because it's hard to ramp something up. If you're coming now, people maybe are a little more cautious. So let me kind of, peel back the layers on this a little bit, tell you what I'm thinking about. Over the last few years, we've seen a lot of companies come into the hobby. A lot. I do believe that at base, the more companies that come in, the better it is. Let's take tag grading, for example, okay? Now, I have absolutely no affiliation whatsoever with tag grading. You guys know Jeremy Lee has an affiliation, with them, and he is, I guess, their biggest cheerleader. I like Jeremy. I have seen tag slabs up front. I'm sure with the full court press that they're doing, the marketing, you name it, you'll be able to hold a tag slab at national if that's something that you want to do. I'll use them as as an example. I don't know how much funding, if any, they got. I don't know when they came into the space exactly, and I don't know how long they're going to be here for. I don't know anyone does. But some of the stuff that they've brought with them, you'd like to think will help collectors, will help people in the hobby, even if the company itself doesn't survive. The way that they grade, bringing in sort of an AI type of a function here, that it's very specific, robot if you will, right? A better grading report, a detailed grading report, you name it. And yet, I've only heard, if you go on Twitter and you put tag grading in, or, Instagram, it's a little tougher to search, right? You'll see people who are huge fans of tag. Oh, they got the best grading this, they got the blah, blah, blah. And you'll see people who are just bashing it. This is a joke. They are not going to be here. There's only a couple grading companies that matter, and this isn't one of them. Nobody kind of down the middle, right? And I guess, when you're down the middle, you're not taking a stand on anything. Nobody really likes Switzerland. Even the cheese is weird. It's got holes in it. I'm not trying to be down the middle. I'm just trying to say that there's good, in almost everything. But, what can we learn, right? What can we learn? Because we've seen companies come and go. And they start off like houses on fire, and they kind of, they don't end that way. I'll just throw it right out there, right? Because you guys know I try to be as honest with you as I can. I don't think I lie to you guys, but I'm sure if I did, there are people watching who call me out on it. But you guys know, with Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze, we did an episode every day for almost a year. The first partner we had was Star Stock, right? And I mean, if you go back, we didn't delete anything. If you go back and listen to episodes, I'm sure I was a fan of Star Stock because some of the stuff they brought to the table was very interesting. It was intriguing. It was fun. It was a way to kind of, play fantasy with the cards, right? Like you were able to get cards in there. You were able to, buy cards on Sunday morning for someone you thought was going to have a great day in the NFL. And then when they scored 2 touchdowns in the first half, boom, you were able to sell it for more. And I did that, right? It was sort of what we talked about, right? And I think what is missing in the hobby, I mean, the on-field performance mattering in the card prices. And that was what I thought was cool about Star Stock. They were taking the cards in, they were vaulting the cards, they had their own sort of, ABC grading standard. It was fun. The hobby was in a very different spot when it started than where it is now. And obviously so is Star Stock. So what I talk about is can you learn from it? I definitely, we had a relationship with Star Stock 100%. And, we talked about what kind of cards were being done, the whole deal. So if a company were to come out now and attempt to do some of the good things that Star Stock brought and maybe learn from some of the stuff that they didn't do, I wonder what we can learn as consumers, as collectors, from the Star Stock up and down. Let's use Arena Club, for example, and I will also say that you guys have seen some codes. I'll repeat them again, or if anybody's listening to this, you can message me for codes. I'm working with Arena Club 100%. They have Derek Jeter coming to the National, and so take this for what it's worth, right? I will, try to be as down the middle as I can. The initial feedback on Arena Club was, why do we need another grading company? Why do we need any of this stuff? And who's going to actually use that? The secondary market's going to be, blah, blah. It's just Star Stock, right? Okay. So one of the things that Star Stock did was they didn't have any kind of cap initially on what kind of cards you sent in. And it was basically free for intake. So I know I sent in cards that should never have been sent in. I would open a box of Topps cards and pull out every rookie. I'd pull out the best ones, your Dan Alvarez that you can grade, you name it, and everything else I would just send in. They would vault it because at the time they were just looking to get a volume of cards in there. But 90% of those cards are legitimately worthless. And everyone did that, right? That's not what you want, right? So a company like Arena can come along and figure out, okay, we're not going to take those kind of cards in, right? And we're not going to have raw cards at all. We're going to grade your cards. We will take PSA, we will take graded cards, but we're also going to grade the cards and grade them at a, reasonable price. I'll give you a code where if you want to spend $100, you can get 30 cards in. If you want to spend $50, you can get 10 cards in. $5 for a graded card in there. $3.33 if you want to get 30 cards in there. $100, get 30 cards in. Just DM me. I'll give you the code if you want it, right? Cage get 20. Cage get 5. Those are the two. Cage get 5 if you want to put in 5. Put in 10 and pay for 5. Cage get 20 if you want to put in 30 and only pay for 10. Anyway, not the point, right? The point here is they're learning from the company that came before it and trying to do something better. They also have the grading is not just a flat, we're going to give it an A, a B, and a C. And then no explanation, no nothing. It's just what we think. No, sort of like what Tag has done. They have a legitimate grading report. They have the scales, they have the slabs, but there's also in each card, it tells you it's 57, 43 centering, and here's the, like a heat map on it and stuff like that. So also trading, right? We've seen, companies that do trading. Well, now if you get stuff on there, I was trading all weekend on Arena Club. Free. Traded a Barry Bonds card, I traded a bunch of cards and, sold some cards too. I don't know what the future holds for Arena Club. I can tell you that I have enjoyed using it. I know some of the folks who listen here have sent in cards using those codes and are now trading cards with me, which is cool. I think it will also allow for that type of fantasy, immediate swapping of cards. I think if you have, some good football guys, some rookies, you name it, and you put those cards on the platform, they have a good day that day. You can be able to buy and sell and trade that same day. So I guess the point is, what can we learn? Is there something to learn? Number one, think of what I just told you. The codes that I have, Cage Get 5 and Cage Get 20. Cage Get 5, you put 10 cards in, they'll grade them for you, they'll vault them for you, but it's going to cost you $50. Cage Get 20, you're putting 30 cards in, it's going to cost you $100. So this is sort of like bet with your head, not over it, right? Anybody can get a little nuts. What I would say is dip your toe in the water. It's what I did. I paid and sent in cards. No discount to what the public is here. I sent in, they have a promotion. I think it's just ending. But they had a promotion of send cards in and they'll have them for you at the National. I sent it in, paid the same amount of money that everybody else would pay. No discount code, no nothing. And I hope to have those cards at the National to show you guys. And I'll take a look at the slab and we'll see what it looks like. And hopefully it's a cool looking slab. I'm sure it will be. Anyway, didn't want to turn this into an Arena Club, advertisement because there are other companies out there, but it's just one of those things where, there's a way to give these companies a shot without, really breaking the bank. And I do believe that the hobby gets better, right? I do believe that the ability for us to get cards, the cards we get even get better with these companies coming in. I think when Fanatics Live happens, it's going to have to be good. Because if it's not, people already have Whatnot. People already have Drip. People already have Card Shop Live. People already have Loop. And I'm sure I'm forgetting, others out, eBay live selling, right? Those companies are advancing the ball. They're moving the product forward. They're making the customer experience better, the same way a tag is, the same way that an arena is. It doesn't always work out. And I don't know exactly what the current status is. I bring this up because I watched Jeremy Lee's interview with Ezra Levine, who came on with a new company, Mascot. I didn't really watch the whole thing. I was curious to hear the conversation about Collectible, because that's another company that Jeremy also was associated with. And anybody who listens to me knows we were doing episodes about, Collectible Platform Weekly. I even still have money in the Michael Jordan rookie jersey, and I have no idea what's happening with that money. No clue. I don't know what's going to happen there and the whole deal. It's another type of business, right? That when it came out, it was an interesting concept, this fractionalization of assets. The prices for a lot of stuff have come down significantly. It's not a surprise to say that. But I'm curious to see what the next phase of that is, if there is one. I mean, Rally obviously is still out there, but I don't know if there's another company coming in, trying to fractionalize these assets. There's plenty of companies coming in. And I think what's good about that is it continues to advance the ball. If it's something that interests you, try it out. But try it out for $50 or try it out for $100, Don't go crazy until you know it's something you're enjoying and it's something that you like. To me, I like the idea of Tag and Arena with their grading because it's supposed to be more objective. It's supposed to be something where it's like, here you go. This is what your card graded and here's why. Which before that you really didn't have. You just had hey, I sent it in, and I used to say if you happen to get the grader who, somebody pissed in his Cheerios that morning, you're getting some low grades. And, who among us hasn't opened up a grading return and been surprised to the upside or the down that a card graded what it graded? At least on this, and hopefully the ball being advanced by these companies, hopefully it advances grading to a point where, we all know why a card graded what it did. It's my little the good, the bad, and the hobby, right? I mean, some of these companies are going to survive and some of these companies are not. We've already seen that many times over. The breaking landscape is an interesting one. It really is. Because I think that a lot of people are banking that that's going to be the future of the hobby. And some people just don't care about breaking. Some people do. But think about all the companies that are in breaking and think about, how far that has come. A couple of years ago before the COVID boom, if I were in a break, it was somebody breaking just on Instagram, and then there was, breaks.tv way long time ago. I like Platinum Breaks. They used to break UFC cards and stuff. Think about the technology and just the ease of use. Even an old guy like me can go on Drip once a week, push 2 buttons, boom, giveaway, boom, sell, and the labels are there. And it's a lot easier than it was. I will tell you that. So, I mean, not every one of these companies can survive. Not every these companies can win at the end of the day. And I think that is a fun thing, right? I'm going to go to National, and I wonder how these companies that are in this competition now are going to act. I wonder if it's a matter of, trying to lock up talent. I wonder if it's a matter of, exclusivity. I wonder if it's a matter of, working together. Don't see a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, this was something I thought of because I spent a few hours this week on Arena Club. A lot of trade offers, a lot of counter offers, a lot of people rejecting my counter offers. But it was the fun of, and none of it cost anything. That was the other part. Trading on the platform was, it's free. You get this, I get this. I got a Penny Hardaway card. I got a Hakeem Olajuwon, the Flair Legacy, Flair Showcase. Excuse me, it wasn't a Legacy. That would have been too good. That trade would have been rejected. And just, why I come on is because it was fun, and there's been a lot of craziness in the hobby. I get a lot of text messages. I get a lot of DMs from people saying, did you see this? Did you see that? Yes, I saw one of the Blez brothers in Death Valley without a shirt on. I have no idea why. I don't get it. I don't get it, but that's what they're doing. And clearly it's eye-catching. Got me. Yes, I've seen that some of the recent Fanatics live breaks have had some amazing hits, even though they've only been out for a little while. I have seen that. I've seen a Kobe cut card. I saw, the Jackie Robinson cut card with Griezmann, right? I mean, the fun part about that is it goes right in with the good, the bad, and the hobby. Because while I'm being texted about this stuff and DM'd about this stuff, you sometimes have to think like, all right, is there a good side to it, right? Will that bring eyeballs in? The fact that these cards are being hit, the fact that these cards are being shown, the fact that they're there. I honestly don't know the answer to that, right? And it's a great question, right? What would you rather have? Would you rather have no eyeballs at all because the products, the product hits aren't being pulled? Or would you rather have these products being pulled and, people see them, right? The triple logo man, right? The fact that it was a big hunt for it and then it was eventually pulled and it was on a Netflix show. And, even before that, it was kind of, talked about all over the place. Is that good or bad for the hobby? Because I can tell you right now, I can make an argument both ways, right? I can make an argument both ways. And I can tell you what I hear both ways. When the Jackie Robinson cut was hit, the bad, a lot of people saying loaded boxes. A lot of people say, oh, loaded boxes. It's a loaded box. These people are getting it. But is it loaded boxes? Is it just a lot of boxes being opened? I don't know. I mean, people will say Backyard Breaks gets loaded boxes. But then if you watch them breaking flawless, they literally have, like my fireplace back here, of flawless, stacked up the cases. And you're just seeing those hits. You're not seeing the 10 cases that were open before that had nothing in them or very little in them. So, I mean, the good, the bad, sure. It doesn't look good if there's loaded boxes. The good, well, now that Kobe cut is being broadcast all over the place, the Jackie Robinson cut card is being shown, and people go, wow, you can get that kind of card, the Lucille Ball card. Wow, you can get that kind of a card. I think the final exclamation point on the good, the bad, and the hobby is, I don't know whether everybody wants it to be good or whether there's a segment out there that want to just, take a shot at everything. I mean, I talk about that Lucille Ball card, right? Immediately, it's probably secretarial. It's not even her signature, right? Wow. I mean, I don't know if that's true. I have no idea if it is, but here you have this cool, somebody posted, they just open this card, and the first thing you do is attack it. I got to tell you, I don't mind it because the hobby should have good and bad. I like both sides of it, right? If the Fanatics Live breaks happen to have a significant amount of high-end stuff coming out, one-of-ones, cut autos, you name it, people should mention it. People should talk about it, right? Because if there is anything untoward going on, it probably will stop because a light is being shined on it. But also on the flip side, isn't it good that those products are out there and hopefully it brings more people into the space? I mean, with the exception of a few people who have already told me this, I think we all want more participants. I think we all want the space to grow. It can only help us. There are some people who call themselves collectors who say they want less people because they don't want more competition for the cards they want to buy. But I don't really buy into that. I think that's just a little too convenient. So put a bow on it because there's a couple of fun things being talked about here. One, let's evaluate your own position in the hobby. Like I did this weekend, having fun for free trading cards. We've now done the bull case and the bear case for the hobby, and people want to hear about that because they're spending their money and their time here. We've then done a audit your collection. Figure out what you're collecting and whether or not it's something you want to collect. And add to that the hobby check-in. And that it's okay that if, some people out there are not doing what they wanted to do. Sasha Tamadan got back to me this week. He even posted on social. Says he's doing great. Just took a little break from social, and he's buying cards. I think he was at Union Marketplace show. We'll hang out with him, I'm sure, at the National. It's good to see. Where are you? And is there a new company out there doing something that you might get some enjoyment out of, like I did with Arena Club this weekend? But at the same time, remember the good and the bad. Learn, because maybe, like me, you were also in Star Stock, and maybe you can't even get your cards out if you wanted to. Maybe it was a long delay to get your cards. Maybe the Star Stock experience left a bad taste in your mouth. So don't go diving, head first into a new thing until you see whether or not they've learned from the company that came before it, and they're now doing it better. Put your toe in the water. See where the temperature is. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. Maybe tag grading is for you, maybe it's not. Maybe DCI grading is for you, or maybe it's not. To each their own, right? But I think we're better off with all these hobby companies here. I think it just continues to move the ball. I think if a company does something wrong, if the company makes mistakes, they either learn from it themselves or the next company that comes usually does. And that's it. I mean, that's the good. I don't really have too much bad because I try to be positive. There's bad out there if you look for it. But yeah, it's a Monday. I mean, it's bad enough that it's Monday. Hobby news coming out tomorrow. Make sure you pay attention. It's a fun one. I'm still looking for the Beckett guy. I may find him. I hope to have something fun with the Beckett guy at National, if Beckett will allow. So if you want, reach out to Beckett. Send a message to Beckett. Beckett, if you're listening to this, send a message to me. I have some really good ideas for the National for you. Trust me. Anyway, this has been fun, guys. It's been all over the place. I'm in one of those Monday kind of moods. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's figure out whether your role in the hobby is good or bad. And if you're listening to this, I already know the answer. You're good. Talk to you guys soon. See you on Wednesday.